The year is 2025. The world is not the same. Something is happening, something big. In America, Donald Trump is back in the White House. Across the Atlantic, Europe is erupting in protests. People are fed up with the globalist agenda. In the East, powerful nations like Russia and China are joining forces, challenging the old order. What's going on? Is this just random chaos, or is something deeper at play? One man, a Russian philosopher named Alexander Dugin, says this is no accident. He predicted this. He calls it the Fall of Globalism, and he says Trump is a key part of it. Alexander Dugin isn't a household name, at least not in the West, but in Russia and among those who study global power, his influence is impossible to ignore. Dugin is a figure who operates in the shadows, yet his ideas ripple through the highest levels of government and academia. Some say he's the architect of a new ideological era, and maybe he should be a name you know. They call him Putin's brain for a reason. His theories have shaped the worldview of Russia's elite, and his vision extends far beyond his homeland. This is a man who understands power, not just how it's wielded, but how it's justified, maintained, and transformed. He's a philosopher, a strategist, and well, some say, a dangerous man. His ideas are controversial, and his critics warn that his vision could reshape the world in unpredictable ways. Dugin has been warning for years that the West is on a path to destruction. He points to the chaos, the polarization, and the loss of shared values as evidence that something fundamental is breaking down. He says our obsession with liberalism, globalism, and forgetting our traditions is a recipe for disaster. Dugin isn't just criticizing, he's diagnosing what he sees as a spiritual and cultural crisis at the heart of modern society. But Dugin is not content to simply point out the flaws. He's offering an alternative, a new way of looking at the world, one that challenges the very foundations of Western thought. He calls it the fourth political theory. This isn't just another ideology, it's a radical departure from the systems that have dominated the last century. It's a rejection of the old ways, liberalism, communism, fascism, each of which, Dugin argues, has failed to deliver true meaning or stability to society. Instead, he calls for something new, something that breaks with the past and dares to imagine a different future. Something based on tradition, identity, and a multipolar world. A vision where nations reclaim their unique paths, and where the future is no longer dictated by a single global order. Dugin believes the West is in a deep crisis. He says our liberal values, individualism, materialism, and the constant push for progress have left us rootless and lost. We've abandoned our traditions, our families, and our faith in search of empty pleasures and fleeting trends. Dugin argues that this pursuit of individual happiness above all else has made us weak. We've become so obsessed with our own little worlds that we've forgotten what it means to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And in the process, we've opened the door for those who want to exploit our weakness. Dugin sees Donald Trump's rise as a symptom of this Western decline. For him, Trump is not just a political figure, but a sign that the old order is faltering. The West, in Dugin's view, is losing its sense of purpose, its unity, and its confidence. The very foundations that once made it powerful, shared values, strong institutions, and a clear identity, are now eroding. Trump's unexpected ascent to power, Dugin argues, is a direct result of this unraveling. He believes Trump is a rejection of the globalist elite and their agenda. The rise of populism, the anger at distant technocrats, and the backlash against open borders all point to a deeper crisis. For Dugin, Trump's rhetoric and policies are a loud, defiant no to the vision of a borderless, homogenized world run by unelected elites. Love him or hate him, Trump tapped into something real in the American psyche, a deep frustration with the status quo and a yearning for a return to strength and identity. Millions of Americans felt ignored, left behind by globalization and rapid social change. Trump's message, simple and direct, resonated with those who felt their voices had been silenced for too long. He promised to restore pride, to bring back jobs, and to put America first. Dugin argues that Trump, in his own way, represents a return to traditional values, a strong America, a nation that puts its own interests first, a leader who isn't afraid to challenge the global order. In Dugin's eyes, Trump's presidency is a revolt against decades of liberal consensus, a call to rediscover national roots and cultural heritage. It's about reclaiming sovereignty and rejecting the idea that all nations must follow the same path. And you know, it's not just America. This wave of discontent, this hunger for change, is sweeping across the Western world. Dugin sees similar movements popping up all over the world. From Europe to South America, leaders and parties are rising up, challenging the status quo, and demanding a new direction. For Dugin, these are all signs that the old Western order is truly crumbling, and something new is struggling to be born. So what comes next? As we stand at a crossroads in history, the world is shifting in ways that many of us are only beginning to understand. The old certainties are fading, and new possibilities are emerging on the global stage. Dugin believes we're heading towards a multipolar world, a world where power is no longer concentrated in the hands of a single superpower, but instead distributed among several strong civilizations, each with its own unique identity and vision for the future. In this new era, the West is no longer the sole superpower calling the shots. The dominance of the United States and its allies is being challenged by rising powers across the globe, from Asia to the Middle East, from Africa to Latin America. Dugin envisions a world where different civilizations, each with its own values, traditions, and ways of life, can coexist and thrive side by side. This means recognizing the legitimacy of other cultures and allowing them to flourish without interference or forced assimilation. He argues that this is the only way to avoid endless conflict and chaos. When one civilization tries to impose its will on others, the result is often resistance, unrest, and even war. But if we accept a world of many centers of power, we open the door to dialogue and mutual respect. Dugin believes that a world of strong, independent civilizations is not only more natural, but also more stable and just. Each nation, each culture can pursue its own destiny, contributing to a richer and more diverse global community. The question is, are we ready for it? Are we prepared to embrace a world where no single power dominates and where cooperation replaces competition as the driving force of international relations? Are we ready to let go of the Atlantic lie, the idea that the West is the model for the rest of the world? Can we accept that there are many paths to progress, and that no one civilization holds all the answers? The future is uncertain, and the challenges ahead are immense. But one thing is clear, the world is changing, and the old order is giving way to something new and unpredictable. Alexander Dugin wants you to be ready for what comes next. He invites us to question our assumptions, to look beyond the familiar, and to imagine a world where many civilizations can stand strong together.